What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It is Wednesday. Man, I thought it was Thursday for a second then. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've had a good day. It's been 24 hours since we saw 23 hours since we last saw each other. But yeah, a lot can change in the markets, can't it? Hey, a lot can change in the markets in just 24 hours. We've gone from euphoric hype to, oh my God, we're back in the bear market again. Oh no. Are we going to zero? All that kind of stuff. Anyway, we'll be breaking that down this evening. We've got quite a lot to get through tonight. It's going to be a good show. And I know sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's going to be a good show. And I just make it up, right? And I'm just like, I don't actually know if it's going to be good. Tonight is going to be good. We're going to dive into some stuff we don't normally get into. We've got a lot in terms of the big announcement from Morgan Stanley. You guys will have seen this. How big is it, right? How big is the Morgan Stanley stuff? We're going to get into their financial reports. We're going to look at some of their cash flow, whether they're actually good for the markets, all right? We're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive. We did this on a couple of altcoins. We've done it on a couple of companies before. But Morgan Stanley, big bang coming to crypto, all right? So I feel like we need to break that down. What could that look like? Where does their AUM set, cash balance sheets, all of that. I've got their most recent filings for financial statements and much more. So we're going to dive into that. That's going to be good fun. We'll also get to ADP jobs report. That's going to give us an indication of what Friday might look like. So we'll break that down, as well as the broader markets, the whole the whole Russia tanker stuff. We probably need to talk about that. And anything else, all right? So we've got an action-packed show this evening, and one of which has had a lot of prep to go into it. You know, you can't just kind of rock into a financial statement and be like, oh, let's see what happens. Maybe you can if you do it crypto. Anyway, do me a favor, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. Do let everybody know that we are live and we're cooking on gas. Like I said, we've got lots to talk about this evening. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're just joining, thank you so much for being here. It's my first live stream ever. No, it's not. Been live streaming for over 4 years now. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all of that good stuff. Like I said, we've got quite a bit to get into. So with that being said, let me once again sort my life out here on my desk. When I get the other camera set in, you guys will be able to see the absolute mess that I live in when I'm in this room. It's just awful. It's awful. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? The desk is definitely a significant challenge. Okay, right, TikTok. Let me see if I can get you guys in and locked in so you guys can see what's going on as well. Let me just move my tea. Important that we stay hydrated, folks. Important we stay hydrated. Okay. We're going to get into a little bit of charting stuff first. Then we'll get into all of what we need to see when we get to Morgan Stanley. All right. So TikTok, I think you guys can see that, right? You can obviously see my finger that's just like coming on the screen. Oh my God, what is going on here? Come on, TikTok. There we go. All right. Perfect, Mundo. You guys absolutely can see that. So yeah. Okay, cool. You guys can see that. Good. And you guys can see on YouTube as well. Welcome in Stanton. Griff, good to see you, man. Tomato Pete's here. Behave is good evening, bro. Hope you had a great day at work today. I was waiting for your stream to come online. It's 3 a.m. my time, midnight. Love from India. Let's get it, mate. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, 3 a.m. Good to see you, man. Congratulations on your first stream. 2-bit. Thanks to Mappy. Any regular would know the mess you still live in. I bet that Red Bull over is still in the pile of laundry. Come on, bro. No, honestly, it's just a mess here. You guys can't see it, but like, it's just all the stuff. There's like microphone cables and like microphones here and this. There's all sorts of crap. Anyway, Brett says, cheers from Mississippi too. But what's going on, Brett? Good to see you, buddy. Okay, let's get into a little bit of what's going on these charts then. So here you can see, look, Bitcoin pushing back down. Oh no, big dumperino today. It's about 2.5%. It's kind of, well, it's just been a weird day. We could kind of sit here and try and make sense of it all and be like, well, I don't know why it's pushed down, but the honest answer is, I don't really know why it's pushed down. It's just kind of dumped down. There's loads of geopolitical stuff going on. This whole tanker stuff's a little bit uneasy, I guess, for markets. I remember lots of people tend to go risk off when we get into kind of this stuff. The only weird one is obviously the stock market has been skyrocketing yet again. And but I did actually post in the premium Discord. I took a short trade on this after it broke this trend here. Turned out to be a decent trade. It was only about 12%. Nothing super crazy, but hey, it was a nice little trade here. Again, just confirming that this kind of idea of momentum trading is actually playing out reasonably well. We lost the 50-day exponential moving average, this big red line. So I guess the question is, where are we going next? Could we see significant push downs? Is the 20-day EMA potentially on the cards? Quite possibly 89,907. Could even be a nice push on a retest of this line. So this could be a good line to go long from if we were to wick all the way down here. You also get, you know, significant layers of support here. So if you look historically across this line, if I just give it a horizontal line, you know, that'll just kind of show you where we have some of this indicator. Look at some of these touch points here. Let me give you a bit of an idea as to Let me just make this a little bit more obvious. Let's do it in, what should we put it in? Pink. There we go. There we go. That's a little bit bad. What you can see here is that on the charts, look how many times we've either respected this as resistance, respected it as support. This is a very critical line, actually. And like we said, the 20-day EMA is kind of where this sits right now. So this could be an interesting long trade. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Fat Sonic. Thanks, mate. I literally haven't put that on my screen. Oh, what's going on? Welcome to the 2-bit. Absolutely, you know, it is 2-bit. Anyway, okay, right, everyone can see what I'm looking at now. So I was saying here, look, we lost this kind of range here. So, you know, this was the wake up we got on Monday. We said that this could be a little bit of a risk. And then we've obviously had the big day yesterday, which was obviously very volatile in the market. Lots of kind of weird macro news coming in. And then, look, here we go in terms of today. So significant push down. What I was saying was I went on a, I took a short trade out here. So once we lost the lower range of this orange box that we've been talking about, this key price area, I did take a short, actually. I've closed the short now. Put it in the premium Discord. You get access to that. Become a channel member or grab a subscription on TikTok. That gives you access to that, as well as our bot. We're just about to put a token sniffer bot in there as well, which is going to be pretty exciting. So that'll support anyone that's into Memecoins, DeFi, and much else. Links in the description or in my profile on TikTok. So what I was saying here, though, is that we could even see BTC rally. Well, sorry, we could see BTC push down a little bit further here. 89,907 could be an interesting long setup. I know some of you are waiting for 91K. Be interesting to know whether some of you actually have gone long at that point. Me personally, I probably want to see this come down a little bit further if the momentum comes with us. What's interesting, on the 12-hour, we are actually wicking right on the 20-day EMA on this line as well. So look, we'll kind of certainly see where this goes to. We could see this wick down again. Look, it hits the 50-day EMA. If we were to see consistent selling, we'll look at the pre-markets and all that kind of stuff as we normally do. I want to get into this Morgan Stanley news a little bit more consistently here. And I don't want to spend too much time on where we sit with some of these. We'll double back if we get time at the end of the stream to kind of talk about some price action and probably where we sort of go. But Bitcoin for me, make or break. We lose the 20-day EMA. We're probably going to come and retest the 50, 89, maybe even come down. This move, by the way, is still very much validated. Like, this is still a nice breakout, consistent with some of these key levels. Once again, you can see this orange box that we have, and I haven't touched it. It is what it is. You can see just how important this actual price area is here that we'll be discussing. So, you know, good to know that we've got that on the charts, and we can certainly make some trades if we see fit. Ethereum, again, came down off that line. So if you remember, we were touching on this yesterday. At the upper ranges here, the 0.5 Fibonacci, 3186, rejected on the 618 at 3300. And then this actually has come down, retested the 20-day here on the 12-hour chart. So ETH actually taking a bit of a bigger hit, but macro ETH actually probably outperforming a little bit. So this could be a stronger move with the 100-day EMA currently here for Ethereum. Not really too much else going on in the markets. Everything's kind of in a similar place. You know, Aerodrome, 7%. Still, again, a critical area for here. Down in some of the other coins, things like World of Big Financial down about 4%. Asta taking a bit of a dump. Jasmy, so many people were like, oh, Jasmy's going to the moon. I actually saw some people like putting videos out. Jasmy to $1. You're like, come on, bro. Let's just be a little bit more sensible here. You know, we wicked up aggressively. We're now coming down. The key is always how far do you drop after an insane move? Down about 10.5%. 200 EMA currently here for Jasmy. So let's see what that does. From that, once you can see here, look at this insane volume spike. Again, could have been manipulation. Who knows? We'll get into all of that a little bit later on. And then interesting, XCN just continues to absolutely dominate, albeit did have a pullback. And then memes. Pepe was kind of holding up the best. Probably printing a nice little consolidation range here. Probably comes down a little bit further. Maybe a bounce off 650 could be interesting. This low range here. Where we've retested a few times. So look, keep your eyes on it. Obviously, all this kind of stuff we do post in the trade signals group in our Discord, and sometimes we post it in the general chat as well. So highly recommend getting into the Discord. Remember, once you join, you just need to verify your account so that we know you're an actual legitimate individual rather than just a complete chopper. Links in the description and also in our pinned comment as well. So check that out. Okay, so that's kind of where we sit. What's interesting though, stock market had a pretty good day. Nvidia, even with the news coming out of China, they have actually put those H200, is it H200 chips on the back burner. So pretty interesting. Google doing pretty well. And then you can see here, look, MST and Coinbase all pretty volatile out there as well. Some of these data center stock, you got Oracle down here, Meta taking a bit of a hit, nothing too crazy. Oil continues to dump with all this kind of news and stuff coming out of the Trump administration. But hey, that's kind of where we are, right? I don't want to get too bogged down in the charts just for the minute. We can come back and look at some a bit later on. We'll see kind of what that sort of plays out. And just if you were kind of in a world and you were like, bro, like this market, man, it's like, Look at this. Someone miraculously turned $990,000 into $10. Think about that, all right? I don't know what they bought, by the way, but they bought something and it was terrible. $990,000, they purchased something. And that is how that ended up for them. So, yeah, always perspective, I think, is important to have in the market. Okay, good. Right, let's get into then a little bit on this news that we got out of Morgan Stanley. I want to break this down a little bit because I think this is... this could be kind of good news. And we'll get into the whole Trump thing at the minute. He's obviously announced a bit on housing. He's obviously announced a bit on defense spending, like all sorts of like crazy stuff just coming out of the Trump administration right now. So we're going to get into that a little bit as well. So what Jasmine isn't going to adopt? Not yet. I mean, it might do in the future, but not just yet. Good on Swamp. Good to see Selma in the build. It's all about bricks this year. I mean, it definitely could be. Definitely could be 2 bits on Jasmine's chips. Yeah, I know. It's fine though. I still hold my Jasmine, by the way. I still hold it, but we'll get into all of that. Okay, let's talk about Morgan Stanley because I think this is worth noting, and let's try and just analyze whether this is good or not, right? I mean, you could argue it's the first real bank that we've got coming in, and they're not a small bank. Now about $9 trillion. Again, we'll take a look at some of that stuff in just a minute. But yeah, look, America's biggest banks keep pumping into crypto. The latest, Morgan Stanley filed for a regulatory approval on Tuesday to launch exchange-traded funds tied to the price of Bitcoin and Solana. It's interesting they go to Solana, isn't it? After, so much, so many, people we've seen. So I think the difference here is that you've got, this is a big traditional financial bank. All right. This is like a proper, Wall Street, as it were. The crypto ETFs will be the first offered directly by a major US bank for watchful investors hoping to ease into crypto. ETFs can be appealing because they offer greater security, simplicity, and oversight than the underlying digital asset. The product is gaining popularity since government push to loosen regulation. Okay. So essentially what we can say here is that, look, Morgan Stanley are positioning themselves for one of two reasons. One, they want to get into the market. They see the optimism, they see the trajectory, and they see that, well, crypto adoption is probably growing. Also, they're getting in it because there's a ton of money, all right? And staking is essentially going to be a DeFi interest rate, okay? Eric Balkunas gave his view, by the way. He said, this is like the move. I like this move by them. It's smart. They have like $8 trillion in advisory assets. We'll actually break it down, Eric Balkunas, and those advisors to allocate to BTC. Now, what's interesting as well with this Morgan Stanley news is that you have Bank of America coming out like 2 days ago saying, hey, we think people should allocate 4% of their portfolios to crypto. That's pretty interesting. Bank of America is not exactly a small bank. Now we get the Morgan Stanley Form S1, obviously that registration statement for these Solana and Bitcoin ETFs. Now, does this mean we're going to see this kind of crazy move? Maybe. I mean, we may see something. So we need to hold and close about 90.9k. Yeah, I mean, anything above 91 would be pretty good. We didn't really sort of go in that. My view, by the way, 91, 20-day EMA would be where I want to. 20-day EMA on the 12-hour is 90,795. So if I was to say that would be a good close above that. Anything above, if we close 91, we're all right. That's a decent finish to the day. So I thought, well, let's try and Casey, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. So let's get into a little bit of what Morgan Stanley offer and what could be the potential, because actually their financials are pretty interesting as you walk through, right? So I think it's worthwhile getting into some of this stuff because I think it's definitely worthwhile. So here is their third quarter earnings report. So I went and got the financial statements for Morgan Stanley because I thought, well, let's have a look. Like, let's see. How much money could they put into it? How much, customer base have they got? Like, all that kind of stuff, right? What I would say is their financials, as much as I'm not an economist, look pretty good to me. Rising debt numbers, but actually, on the whole, they actually look pretty solid. Do you think memes will continue to pump? Pengu is my favorite. I mean, they've dumped pretty aggressively today. I think there's a chance. We just have to... We just need a bit more optimism in the markets. Remember, everything's driven by optimism in this market. That's what you got to understand. And sentiment as opposed to actual fundamentals at this moment in time. So, yeah. We just have to be mindful, okay? We just have to be mindful. So, let's get into this then. So, New York, October 15th. This is obviously the last one. You can see here, look, today reported net revenues of $18.2 billion for the third quarter ending September 30th, compared to $15.4 billion. So Morgan Stanley is a growing business, and not even like like not even like a little bit, like a lot, which is good. Net income applicable to Morgan Stanley was 4.6 billion or 2.8 per diluted share compared to 3.2 billion 188 for the same period a year ago. So we'll talk about where this has come from because it's quite a bit to kind of break into. But again, there is a ton of investment with Morgan Stanley right now. And that for me is the key bit we need to understand. Also, we need to understand where their risk element is, because you know, are they going to go dump $50 trillion into Bitcoin? Maybe. I mean, we'll see. All right, we'll see. So let's kind of talk about what they did. So record net revenues for the third quarter, like we said, 18.2 billion, which is kind of great. You can see this here. Look, third quarter of 2025. So they had a lot going in there. Which is bullish, by the way. So they delivered on the strong ROTC, by the way. ROTC is return on tangible common equities, right? It's basically like what the most favored product by institutions would be. So, for example, property or I don't know, like hedge funds, whatever it is. Like basically the most profitable or the most popular with institutional investors, okay? So those that have got big money that want to say, hey, I'm going to put my money in Morgan Stanley, they returned 23.5%. That's a pretty freaking big return if you think about it. That's a chunk of change. Now, we don't really get to understand what that actually is, where it came from and how it's all made up, but essentially it's a pretty good number, right? It's a pretty good number. And, you know, anything above that is generally like top end. Like it's really, really good numbers. Lots of good, lots of positives, okay? So essentially what you've got there is, you know, people, they did well on the stock market. Maybe they traded equities. Maybe they bought some great property. Who knows, right? But that's what it is. What you also get here, by the way, is a load of interesting data that could apply to more supportive endeavors for the crypto markets. So you can see this institutional securities. What were people buying, right? Net revenue of 8.5 billion. Robust performance in equity and a rebound in investment banking activity. So what this is telling us here is like people are going into Morgan Stanley. They're like, hey, we trust you with our money, bro. Go and spend some money for us. You know, investment banking, 2.1. Look at that, nearly doubled. Equities at 4.1 billion. I mean, that's pretty equity. Pretty crazy. Fixed income here at 2.16. So these would be things like interest rates, yields, nothing super crazy, right? Which is wild. Now, here's where it gets freaking wild. And I guess we could probably attribute this to maybe some of what could happen in the crypto market. Okay, this is important. So wealth management. So these are other companies. These are potentially like people with big pockets, like millionaires, billionaires, great card. You know, all these people with lots of money that are like, bro, I just want it to work, right? I can't be bothered doing it myself. You know, maybe they're like inheritance funds, whatever, right? But they delivered a pre-tax margin of 30.3% for the quarter. Like, understand how crazy that is. Record net revenues, 8.2 billion, reflect our highest asset management revenues, robust level of client activity, and higher net interest income. So basically, they made more money because they had more money. Like, if you think about it that way, that's a pretty wild statement. Business demonstrated continued growth with net assets of 81 billion, fee-based asset flows of 42 billion, right? Here's where it gets wild, though. Look at this. $173.9 million, 173 billion in loans. So this was kind of where people were hedging money out. So they would say, hey, give us your money. We'll loan your money out for corporate investments or whatever it is. 173 billion. So this tells you that there are people that are interested in making their money work, right? And these are sort of some of the things we need to obviously just keep an eye on for, or certainly could align to maybe what could their ETFs do, okay? And then investment management net revenue of 1.6 billion, 1.8 billion, and long-term net flows in billions, 16.5 billion, right? So these, again, where people are like dumping loads of their money in, their annual unrealized gains, all this kind of stuff, right? Huge. Look at how much increase it is over that. You look at long-term net flows, 16.5 versus 7.3. And that's in a year. Look at this, third quarter 2024, third quarter 2025, okay? So pretty crazy, right? What we can then decipher by this is, man, Morgan Stanley have got an absolute ton of cash here, and they may be a gold mine for this crypto market. Maybe. What is that? Is my tea bag split? Bro, that better not happen. Annoyingly, it's gone cold. Here's some of the kind of summaries, by the way. Investment banking net revenues up 44%. That's pretty epic, by the way. Equity net returns up 35%. Fixed income up 8%. So these are kind of the interesting one. Investment banking are certainly where the kind of big ones are. Why? Equity underwriting revenues increased a year ago on higher IPOs and convertible offerings as clients actively engaged in capital raising opportunities and more constructive market environments, right? That's a pretty big deal. So basically what they're saying is that the 44% increase in investment banking net revenues is because they are prepared to go into higher IPOs. So initial price offerings, Circle, for example, will have been a big contributor to that. Convertible offerings. So these are what you get with things like MSTR, or loads of these treasury companies. Actually, this is a big deal here. So loads of these treasury companies that convert debt, we talked about this yesterday, this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy that things go higher, they can leverage more debt, which then means they can pump the price and da-da-da, right? We sort of discussed that yesterday. But again, this is kind of way bigger. And then engaged in capital raising opportunities. Well, think about what's one of the biggest capital raising markets right now that people are, looking at. Well, it's the crypto market. It's the fact that people are like looking for these treasury companies, and they are literally hedging debt against the potential upside is pretty wild if you think about it. It goes into a lot of other stuff. I don't really think we need to get into all of this kind of shit. We'll do something else in just a minute. But anyway, what we can say here is their last earnings report was pretty freaking bullish, okay? Pretty good news, okay? Let's get into their financials, though, because this is where it gets even crazier. So these are third quarter 2025 earnings results. So this is where we'll get into kind of balance sheets, financial summaries, and all this kind of stuff, right? This is kind of, again, this is not financial advice, by the way. I'm just looking at publicly available documents, and we're sort of working out whether we think, and I'll ask for your views in a minute, whether we think they're going to be a good thing for the crypto market. That's what we want to know, right? That's what we want to know. Also, at the same time, we'll keep an eye on what's going on with the price of Bitcoin. We want to see it above 91,000. Daniel, what's going on? Holmes in the building. Welcome in, guys. Appreciate you. Hunter, good to see you, buddy, as always. Casey's here. Casey, have you just flipped from TikTok to YouTube? What is going on, bro? AI and tech stocks. Yeah, RPM, it's where it's all at. Watch out for the bubble, though, bro. Okay. So, consolidated financial summary. Important to reference here, by the way, unaudited, all right? And this is in millions of dollars. So, when you get 8,523, 8.5 billion, okay? That's kind of where we get to. Now, we've sort of discussed net revenues. We discussed all this. Where I want to get to a little bit is where their money is going and where it's coming from, okay? Because these are going to be the things that are going to, decide whether they will have clients. Remember, this is about client money as opposed to their money. This we're going to want to go into ETFs. And then you can see some of the statements here in terms of where they've performed. So, yeah, this is kind of important, all right, as we kind of walk through this. So we're not going to look at too much in here. So where I want to get into is some more of the kind of financial markets, okay? So these are where you've got earnings basic per share. So people investing in Morgan Stanley, what are their potential returns versus what they bought in? So, for example, you buy it in September 30th at $191 per share. It's now $283. It's a decent return over the course of a year. And you see how this has kind of moved both in percentage change and in 9 months. So, 31% gain in an investment on their basic share in Morgan Stanley is pretty good. This would tell you that there is a demand for this particular company, right? They've got, cash flow, which is great. They've got returns that they can stand on, which probably means they can raise more debt. We'll look at that debt number in just a minute. It's a little bit further down here. So again, we can say that Morgan Stanley is a pretty good bet. So here we go. The consolidated balance sheet. So what do they have right now as part of their actual bank? All right, let's call it that. So total assets currently sitting at over $1.3 trillion, right? No, $100 billion. What is that? $10 billion. Sorry, $10 billion. No, trillion dollars. What the hell am I talking about? $1.3 trillion. Yeah, $9 trillion. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, $1.3 trillion. Okay, so pretty big number when you think about it. Increasing over quarters. Loans out, $277 billion is what's out. Increased by about 4% from 267. So nothing crazy here. But these are obviously where you've got people potentially either taking a little bit more risk on. Long-term debt outstanding is the important one. That's actually increasing, not by much. But again, $324 billion. So again, and then look at this, $405 billion in deposits. So they've definitely got some cash. Common equity here at $100 billion is not a small amount. Tangible common equity. What have they actually got that they can do stuff with? $77 billion. Okay, so that's not small, is it? Right? It's definitely not a small amount in the world. You can see how this then breaks out. So what we can see here as well, $13 billion in America. So they're a big bank, obviously global bank, which is important. But look, they have a ton coming in from US, which you would expect in some sentiments. Okay, this kind of walks through a little bit more in terms of what they've actually got. This is kind of where we want to get to in terms of institutional securities. Okay, so we know what these ETFs are going to be. Institutional investors, all that kind of stuff. All right, this is kind of where we want to be looking at specifically with this. So here you've got fixed equity, underwriting equity. What is going on, man? I got my slipper off then. That's that. I think some of the kids' slime on my foot. Nice. So yeah, here's where you've got a lot of the kind of stuff that they are getting from institutional clients and more. So they're underwriting currently $1.4 billion of underwriting assets. Okay, just for the quarter. Remember, this is September 2025. Investment banking at 2.1 billion. So what we can say here is that they have got a absolute ton of demand, right? What's going on, Fairground? Ton of demand to get involved in Morgan Stanley, okay? Which is a surprise from an institutional standpoint, okay? Pre-tax margin of 37% is pretty epic as well, if you ask me. So they've definitely got a lot of money coming in. They've definitely got a lot of ambition for stuff to come in as well. And you can see that their average return on common equity. So this is when people are like dumping their money in 25%. That's like, wow. So, you know, it's a pretty healthy number, which is increasing over time. So again, what you could argue here is say, well, what they're doing, what they're investing in, whether it's, you know, those IPOs that we talked about or whatever, it's actually performing pretty well versus the broader market. Now, we haven't looked at any of the financial statements, to be honest, but hey, it's worthwhile noting on here. And then in terms of wealth management, total client assets, this is where we want to get spicy. This is absolutely where we want to get to in terms of, it's important though, Craig, I think, personally. This is where we want to get to in terms of how much money can they dump into this market. And it will all play out a little bit more when I talk about some of the bits. But $7 billion, all right? Sorry, $70 billion is what they've got in total client assets right now, of which US bank loans, $173 billion, margin in other lendings, $27 billion, deposits at $398 billion. So they've got some big money coming in, by the way. Advisor-led client assets, $54 billion. It's all like pretty big numbers here, which is kind of great. Fees, which is important because obviously that's generating cash flow for what they've got. So when you kind of look at Morgan Stanley from a financial standpoint, they have got an absolute shit ton of money. They've got loads of people investing in them, loads of people banking with them for investments, which is also pretty crazy as well. So we can go through the rest of this. We don't really need to. I can feel that, you know, it's we've probably done it, but institutional security loans and lending commitments, $287 freaking billion, bruh, lots of money. Okay, so what we can say here is that when we go through all of this, and you can kind of read through all their like bits and pieces and all this kind of stuff. Essentially, when you look at their cash flow and you look at what they've got, Morgan Stanley has enormous amounts of capital. They are an incredibly bullish bank right now. They're making an absolute freaking ton of money, right? They're making a freaking ton of money. So when you start talking about the potential of Morgan Stanley coming into the markets, it's pretty big. All right. It's pretty big. I think it's a pretty big news. I think it's going to drive markets hard. I think they're going to come in big as well. Understand it. You know, you've got a $9 trillion bank that's going to come in that has that has the opportunity right now with, you know, at least, man, what would you say? At least 5% undermanned assets that could even come to this market. Like, this could be pretty crazy, right? This could be pretty crazy if you think about it. And then the other thing to reference here, by the way, once Morgan Stanley comes in, you are going to get a ton more, in my opinion. Which I think is good, all right? Which I think is good. So it's definitely worthwhile keeping an eye on stuff like this because I think when you start to get this kind of stuff, remember they're a bank. They're a bank as opposed to, you know, the kind of what we see at the minute, which is investment companies. Obviously, they do it as well. But yeah, very important, right? Very important. So I think what they've got is a ton of liquidity, loads of liquid assets, loads of ambition for institutional clients. Like, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good news. So let's stick it to the vote. Start a poll. Is Morgan Stanley coming into crypto? Good news? Question mark. Yes or no? Drop the poll. Rob, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Man, TikTok is super quiet. I wonder why some nights just nobody turns up. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm going to lose any sleep over it. But yeah, so look, good news, by the way. Also, don't forget, and I didn't notice on there, actually, I didn't see. So, repo. I wondered if they were actually involved in the repo, but it doesn't look like they are, in fairness. So, quarter in September, assessment was repurchased agreements. Yeah, so I don't think I don't think they actually are having to do. Yeah, they don't. So they're not part of the repo agreement. That's pretty interesting as well, isn't it? I didn't even notice that when we kind of walked through that. But Anyway, pretty bullish, I think. 93% of you saying that, yes, we think it's super bullish that Morgan Stanley are coming in. I am absolutely going to agree with you. I think it's great news that Morgan Stanley are going to come in. So, good. All right. Bullish on that. 2x space at 7 p.m. East with Pure Wallet if you're interested. Oh, yeah, send me the link, Tim. I'll take a look at it. Definitely. For sure. Okay. So, with Morgan Stanley being the good news, and, absolutely that's good news, by the way, that they are coming into the markets. Now, we have to understand why we've seen extreme volatility in the markets. Markets dumped today. I mean, we're trying to crawl back a little bit, 91,000, but what happened? All right, we'll walk through some of this, and it'll all hopefully kind of tie together. But Trump announced today the executives of U.S. defense contracts will no longer be allowed to make more than $5 million unless they build new and modern production plants. Trump also said he's banning dividends and stock buybacks for defense companies until these products and problems are rectified. Now, the stock market, or particularly Lockheed Martin, absolutely dumped, right? Which, if you're a stock market investor, is a bit like, But yeah, pretty interesting, right? Lockheed Martin took an absolute dumperino on the back of this announcement, which is kind of another way of boosting manufacturing. Why is Trump trying to boost manufacturing? Because the ISM came in below par, right? Basically, what it's saying is there is a contracting manufacturing market. He needs to go into midterms. He needs to deliver the midterms. So, yeah, he needs to crack on. And pretty interesting is that the day after you get ISM, it's like, boom, get out of here. We'll not permit dividends, stop by it. Now he's got to get it through Congress, and they've got to, what's the word they use for it? I can't remember what the word is for it. Well, what's the word for when they put it into it? Codify it into law. That's what they need to do. So whether it'll pass, I don't think so personally, but it's pretty interesting. This aligns to another Trump statement that we got today, which is basically taking immediate actions to ban large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. What happened? Blackstone went to freaking zero, down 9% on the day as well. So I guess you might be thinking, oh my God, I tuned in for a crypto show. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is not like a crypto show. Why is this stuff important? Well, it's not risk on, all right? These may drive people to say, well, hey, I can't go and buy single occupancy houses. Where am I going to put my capital now? Oh, I know where I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Morgan Stanley and put it in a freaking 5% or 30% return on ETF. Like, what the hell? Pretty wild if you think about it. But yeah, for a long time, buying and owning homes was considered for the pinnacle of the American dream, the reward working hard and doing the right thing. But now, because of the record high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats and Congress, American dream is going to blah, 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 blah. Basically saying that, yeah, you're not going to be able to buy them. Companies aren't going to be able to buy them. You've also, you've got this like massive real estate business now that's like, oh shit, like what am I doing with this cash that I've got? Like, what the heck? I was going to buy these homes, rent them out, do them up. Pretty interesting if you ask me. So this could be bullish for broader risk on markets. I don't necessarily think you need to take this dumperino as like, oh my God, Trump's completely crashing the markets. But them kind of couple of bits of news are very interesting and may drive a sentiment into risk on. Maybe. I think we need to see a little bit more in terms of, decreasing inflation and probably a little bit more appetite for risk on. The Russell being a good indicator for that, by the way, which we touched on yesterday. But definitely could be a thing where, big institutions now are going to look for, somewhere to dump their money. And, yeah, we will see whether that is a crypto asset, an ETF asset, derivative market. Who the hell knows? Going to be pretty interesting. So, yeah, we'll see. Yes, Holmes, there has been some updates. We've been talking about it over the last sort of week or two. Lock in, join the Telegram, and it's all in there. So, yeah. Again, if the market comes with us, then we will certainly be, we'll be sending it big time. All right. Everything's good. Everything's done. Everything's ready to go. Everything's, sorted. Like, we are golden, baby. So, yeah, but it is all about timing. It's all about timing, in my view. Just my opinion. Okay. Don't forget, if you haven't already hit the like button, do us a favor. By the way, if you want to trade all your favorite cryptos, check out Bitunix. You've only got a day left and a couple of hours. Join over 300 people that have signed up now. Again, it's where I've been doing loads of my trading over here. I actually took that short earlier on. I did post it in the Discord, actually, if you are interested. But yeah, no KYC available all over the world, and actually getting a 50% rebate on your deposits right now if you sign up with the link in the Discord or in the comment in the description down below, by the way. So, yeah, check it out. Check it out for sure. Where is it? Trade history. Oh, man, I need to log in. I see the Discord anyway, and I did post it on X. So, but if you're interested, check it out. You only got a few days left. Well, you've got like 24 hours again. So, hi, and outcome. We're dumping on crypto. Andy Smith. Lots of geopolitical stuff going on. Trump's seizing containers. And apparently the UK are involved in it. I mean, what the heck is that about? Bro. Wild, if you ask me. Wild. But, yeah. All right. Good. So, yeah, if you haven't seen, by the way, that the US seized the Russian flag. They did two, I think, actually. I think they've got two oil tankers, which are pretty crazy. So, anyway, more on that in just a second. Now, the other bit around Morgan Stanley that I totally forgot to do, it's because I've put it in the wrong place, by the way, is this, which I thought was interesting. Now, again, you need your little silver hats on, but did Morgan Stanley pull off the biggest crypto manipulation? The sequel to Bitcoin's October crash and January recovery looks like a planned setup, and the data supports it. Bum, bum, bum. Do you think Morgan Stanley? It was all a game. They had to get in. October 10th, MSCI, originally a Morgan Stanley division, announced a proposal to remove digital asset treasury companies from its global index. This includes firms like MicroStrategy, Metaplanet, whose balance sheets hold billions worth of Bitcoin. That wasn't a small change because of the MSCI index guide trillions of dollars in passive flows. Those firms were removed. Pension funds, ETFs would all be forced to sell. It is kind of wild if you think about it. That like potentially this was all going to go to zero. You would have not got these, these ETF filings. Morgan Stanley wouldn't have come in. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, MSCI, we're fine, we're cool with it. Like, don't worry about it. You got my video earlier on, kind of breaking down what was going on. Definitely recommend watching that, by the way. And then they're like, oh yeah, we'll chuck an ETF in. Oh, and it's a staking Solana ETF. Oh, and it's a Bitcoin ETF. Morgan Stanley, baby, bullish. So, yeah, minutes after the announcement, Bitcoin dropped. Obviously, that 18K, we were live for that entire thing. But it's a pretty interesting article. The assumption being that basically Morgan Stanley, the actual the Morgan Stanley division, obviously, with this MSCI stuff, dumped the market, bought the market in, and now they're going to chuck an ETF out. It'd be interesting, won't it? Will they seed their ETF? Will they not seed their ETF? All that kind of stuff. Pretty quiet, if you ask me. I'm so glad I was 100% sidelined when October 11th happened, but would have been nice to have had US. Yeah, I mean, we were live, like when the whole thing happened. It was freaking wild. Market moved up big now. A pullback and get a breather before we go higher. BTC on sale. I mean, maybe, yeah, where we're at now, 91,100 in a, thereabouts. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting thought process. Whether you believe it or not, I don't know. How do you think XRP is going to hit $10? Depends on your time scale. Can XRP hit $10? Yes. Is it going to hit $10 like short term? Probably not. Probably not. Let's get to 5. Let's get to 3. Let's do some like basic tiering up. But I mean, the fundamentals are there, but the reality, probably not so much just at the minute. Market's too volatile. Like people just keep getting wrecked on these markets. But yeah, anyway, pretty interesting here on this one. Martini Guy, whether you like him or not, Bitcoin's weekly moving average is a key. The 100 weekly moving average has acted as support, while the 50 weekly moving average is at 101,000. A reclaim of the 50 is bullish. A drop below the 100 is bearish. So, the view here, I don't necessarily think I'm super in line to that. It's similar to what we've got on our charts, really. Bearish is, for me, break down below this trend line here. That's kind of bearish for me right now. But, interesting when you start to look into it. Once again, FYI, just if you are tracking this sort of stuff, hold on a minute, I'm going to sneeze. Great sneeze, by the way. I pulled some profits yesterday before the dump. Nice, bro. That's the way to do it. What you can see here is BlackRock net buyers, aggressively net buyers of Bitcoin as well. This is kind of wild. Like, look how much they've been buying. 27 mil, 27 mil, 27 mil, 27 mil, 27 mil, 27 mil, 27, like wild. They are buying big. And it's interesting as well, by the way. They seem to be buying the dumps. So when you see these kind of dumps on the charts, and they kind of correlate to when then we see a buyback in. Pretty wild if you ask me. So if you look at, say, for example, BlackRock here, 3 hours ago, they bought a shit ton of ETH. Here we go, look, 4 hours ago, they bought BTC. So you go back, uno, dos, tres, gatos. Big dump here on the market. Oh, BlackRock bought back in $25 million. So yeah, pretty interesting that they are consistent buyers, while at the same time, net inflows on ETFs continue to show up pretty bullish as well. So BlackRock are buying an absolute ton. Like, they're buying so much Bitcoin right now. It's wild. Yeah, you've seen a bit of outflows. Some people sideline, not doing too much. But man, BlackRock are just like, you think we're going to miss out on a 91,000 little BTC? Like, give me some more Bitcoin. Like, look how crazy this is. Like, they are literally buying an absolute ton. of BTC and have been pretty much most of the day. They started about 10 hours ago, which if you go back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 was just after the big dipperino. So they basically are buying this entire downward trend dip, which is pretty interesting as well, if you ask me. So, you know, if you wanted to kind of see what was sort of playing out, where are we at? You know, if you were really kind of like short term, we got a bit to go yet. 91,500 is probably where we want to see. But anything on the daily closing above 91K is probably okay, I think. But yeah, BlackRock getting pretty bullish. ETFs are obviously in there as well. So yeah. And then other bit of news, just dead quick. ADP, the National Jobs Report came in today. So I don't know if you saw this, but yeah. Any time scale? Well, it's 90-day approval rate unless they get fast-tracked through, which could be, I mean, it could be in by the end of this month. Could be in by the end of this month, in fairness, which is kind of wild. But yeah, ADP national employment data, you know, we tracked this before. December came in at a 41,000 job gain, right? Expectation was 50K, by the way, just so that if anyone was curious. But rebounding hiring led by education and health services and the leisure and hospitality area. Well, that's fine. Small establishments recovered from November job losses with positive end-of-year hiring, even a large employer pulled back. The only thing to be mindful of with this jobs data is that it was all well, we think you could argue a lot of it was potentially seasonal, but yeah, look, good news. Small businesses are, you know, boosting jobs, right? Cool. All right. Well, that means people got a bit more money, haven't they? The only thing it does mean, though, I bet, I didn't look at this actually, but I bet if we go and look at the CME FedWatch numbers, I bet these ticked up again. There's like very unlikely you're going to get a rate cut in January. So where are we at? Yeah, 88.4. What a surprise. This was 81 yesterday. So there would need to almost be a collapse, in my opinion, to see a rate cut in January. So unfortunately, we're going to get one, which means March is probably the best bet. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad news, by the way. We'll see what we'll see what Jerome Powell is hawkish or dovish. I obviously in a bit of world. I don't think he's going to care anymore. Obviously, he's going to care, but I just think he'll be like super neutral. Super neutral. Ronnie says, why would BlackRock have purchased heavily like this when it was 80 plus thousands per coin? Well, because they were buying then anyway. They were buying there. You got to understand, it's not necessarily BlackRock. It's the customers of BlackRock that are buying it. But yeah, BlackRock have been accumulating like crazy. Like they've been absolutely stacking their bags. Like $81 billion worth of BTC they've been buying. But yeah, so they've been buying at 80K. What you got to understand is, and this is how you get ahead of the markets, by the way, is that you buy when the markets are fearful. And what a lot of people do is buy when the markets are pumping. That's why you get crazy volatility in the market. That's why you get stuff like this, because people will have been absolutely FOMO on it. I think it was like $300 million worth of liquidations on the longs on the back of this pump, because people are like, oh my God, we're going to the moon. That's why it's important to tune into this live stream. We break down the channels. We understand it. We talk about what areas are important. Key areas to be mindful of, all that kind of good stuff. And we also talk about it in the Discord as well. So if you're interested, check out that link in the description. Grab yourself an invite. What about government shutdown? I think it's less likely. And I think for once, there is obviously this bit around, healthcare and all the rest of it. So I think it's unlikely the government will shut down again, in my opinion. I just think there's bigger things to worry about. Maybe that's the 4D chess move from Trump. Like, let's go and grab some tankers and invade Venezuela. Well, not invade Venezuela. That's actually the wrong sentiment. But yeah, maybe it's all about that. But yeah, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is I'm just not hearing anything about it. Don't forget, the last time we were like hearing loads of like, oh, it's government shutdown. Like, we're just not hearing that anymore. So yeah, I'm not so sure that it's going to happen. But I mean, you never know. Crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. Is there a Greenland meme coin to it? Of course there is, Tomato P. You better believe there is. Alvin, what's going on, bud? Yo, dudes and dudettes. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, buddy. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll keep a close eye on those things for sure. But certainly BlackRock are net buyers right now. I don't know who else has been buying. Kathy Wood's normally good on. Yeah, they bought a chunk as well. Kathy Wood obviously pretty bullish on where BTC is going to go. So another probably net inflow day on ETFs, I would argue. So we got a net outflow day, 240 mil yesterday. Today probably looks like it's going to be a net inflow day, which is going to be good. So Fairground says, let's not stop at the room. Let's send it to... Well, let's do it, Fairground. I'm down for it, by the way. The only thing is I can't unmute your comment, which is kind of annoying. And sometimes TikTok is just the wildest platform. Okay, I can't do it, but I can see it, Fairground. That's the main thing. Is anyone else tired of winning one time? What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Michael Saylor probably bought. He did buy the other day. Which is kind of interesting. So, okay, good. Good. All right. Well, let's just kind of, while we're here, let's talk about this. US seizing a Russian-flagged oil tanker in the Atlantic after a 2-week pursuit. Like, what? What? This Bella One thing is kind of wild, isn't it? Like, US seized a Russian-flagged oil tanker in the Atlantic Ocean in a high-stakes operation that could risk confrontation with the Kremlin. Apparently, Putin sent a submarine there, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of wild. Now, what's interesting is I would have definitely thought we'd have gone a little bit more risk on, but, you know, people are just going, yep, I'm just going to buy silver, baby. That's it. Give me some more silver. Although silver dumped today. Wow, that's pretty interesting, man. So where is all the freaking money going in? The stock market. Man, it is literally going into the stock market. Look at that. Google, Nvidia, Amazon, like everyone's just dumping into the stock market. Send the Qs higher, 624. Wow. It was a Venezuelan tanker escorted by Russia. I thought it was a Russian-signed tanker. Or it been, had it not been converted to it? Or was it? Oh, yeah, Russian flagged oil tanker in the Atlantic. I'm not super up to speed on, surprisingly, on shipping. But yeah, I thought it was a Venezuelan oil on a Russian marked tanker. That's what I heard. But yeah, it's because it's got basically what the US is saying is, my understanding is that no, we control the oil supply of Venezuela. Like, you can't have it. The Mariana has been navigating the Atlantic between Iceland and the UK. According to ship tracking data from Mariners Traffic, they served helicopters at least one Coast Guard vessel and provided support in the US. The pursuit of the Mariana began after it turned back into the Atlantic while traveling from Iran to Venezuela, having attempted to evade a US blockade target and sanction hit oil tankers operating near Venezuelan water. So yeah, pretty wild. Pretty wild if you ask me. If you yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's anything it like super affects the crypto market too much, but yeah, it's still pretty insane. Obviously, Trump announced last night 50 million barrels of oil heading over to none other than the US as well. So that's a pretty interesting statement. So I guess you could argue that, like, you know, there's kind of a little bit of a bullishness out there, whether it's going to actually bring rates down, how it's all going to work out. You know, is it really going to dump the price of oil? I mean, it is at the minute, you could argue. I mean, oil is definitely dumping since Sunday. Venezuelan stock market is absolutely skyrocketing, like all sorts of craziness. We're just not seeing Bitcoin do the same. Stock market flying, BTC pretty flat. So yeah, it is unfortunately what it is right now. But hey, we'll see. Moving feast, let's call it that. Let's call it that. It's a pretty interesting moving feast, but let's call it that. So good. Good, right. Let us we'll do the pre-markets a little bit actually. We don't need to do them just yet. Petrol prices might come down here. Yeah, maybe. I mean, they won't come down here. We tax it too much, but maybe we did. Maybe we did. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. Selena, is it Selena Anderson? Selena, but you're right. It is the best thing to do. And again, you know, crypto is exhausting when you trade micro or you're involved in micro. So you're like obsess about the charts. You obsess about micro trend. Like, yeah, like it just wears you out. That's why you just got to be in a world of going, right, where do I think fundamentally I'm going? What's my risk appetite? If I'm in heavy risk, I need to be way more on this. If you're in Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know, depending on what your short-term ambitions are for it, it's like the problem is a lot of people go, man, well, I put $1,000 into Ethereum and I need it to turn into 10 million like tomorrow. It's just not going to happen. Like, those days are well and truly gone. But Trump is the boss now. What's going on, Alpha? Good to see you, buddy. He's certainly flexing. I mean, it's not really peace through strength at the minute, is it? It's a bit like, hey, I'm taking your freaking oil, bro, and you're going to let me have it. It's wild. You're just chasing the oil tanker like a caravan down the M1. Oh, man. Yeah, so true. Law of attraction works unless you apply it to a God candle. BTC is in a range. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that. I mean, yeah, down 2.8. You know, I guess net. You know, this is kind of where we were trending here in this downward line. Like, I'm kind of cool. Breaking news, cheese. What have you got for us? Man, you guys are breaking the news quicker than mine. I turned my notifications off. I need to turn them back on, really, from X. What's the breaking news, cheese? You tell me before I get there. Just in, Trump's family crypto World Limit Financial applies for US banking license. Let's go. I told you about World Limit Financial. Is it going to pump though? No. Oh, it might do. Oh, it did have a wake up action on the 30-minute. I mean, is it the biggest deal in the world? Is it the biggest deal in the world? Maybe. I don't think it is. But yeah, look at this. World Limit Financial applies for US banking license. Well, it depends whether they get it. Bullish news. Yeah, let's see whether they get it right now. Let's see whether they get it. I mean, it's pretty good news, especially if you are in, that's rubbish breaking news. Do better. Okay, Tomato Pete, I got you. Especially if you're in, Will It Be Financial, then I wonder if we can get something where Watch a Guru posts into the chat. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it, if we could do that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we said that, didn't we? I think we kind of felt like they would definitely go to some element of a financial system. But yeah, I mean, yeah, let's see what happens. Is it moving a little bit? Nothing crazy. I mean, it's the markets have dropped 2.5%. They're like, quick, get the news out. Tell them it's going to be fine. Quick. Oh my gosh. I put 25 quid into Will It Be Financial the night before. Well, there you go, Craig. Hey, winner, chicken dinner, right? Winner, chicken dinner. Man, so many people can't. Why can't people just verify at our Discord? Or do you think it's like, do you think that they are, they're just not able to do it? Like, it's pretty freaking wild. But anyway. It was a sponsored post, Mark. So DYOR is what I would say with that. That's why I put it in the comments underneath, and I changed my I did change the title on that XRP video. Thank you for sending me that. Thank you for sending me that. The calm before the storm, baby. But yeah, DYOR on it is what I would say. I mean, it looks okay in fairness, but yeah, DYOR, definitely. Definitely. They're trying to copy Ripple. I mean, we haven't really heard a lot about the Ripple stuff recently, but let's hope they get it. Let's hope they get it. I mean, this would definitely be an interesting one if Will It Be Financial get it. The problem is, this is what I don't really get with all this kind of news. It like comes out and it's like just comes out in the worst time. It's like the markets are, not great today. Dead quick on pre-market data, by the way, looks garbage for tomorrow as well. Albeit we did actually look like we were going to be optimistic today and it was terrible, but a little bit on the Asia markets. Maybe Asia buys. We'll see. Commodities look like they're going to dip. We'll come back to this in just a minute. I'm kind of curious as to what Will It Be Financial is going to do. Is that actually true, Curtis? That would be wild. I think his feet will be recognized as bots. They're not being allowed to think his people being recognized as bots. What? Oh, I think his feet will be recognized as bots are not being allowed to think his people being recognized as bots. What, Craig? I have no idea what that means. David says, is it not a recognized address? It may go to spam. What? I like to nice one time, yeah. There's quite a few people do actually. Quite a few people have been talking about it, but yeah. Let's hope we absolutely full send it for sure. Great. Man, it wicked up to 1761 here on the 15 minutes. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens in news. Is it crazy? It's not really. They've just filed for it. It'll be more crazy when they come back and go, Will There Be Financial being given the rights to, file for a banking license or whatever it is. I guess there's a lot to do between them, but yeah, even that news can't push that higher. Pretty wild if you ask me. Okay, good. All right, well, let's keep an eye on what's going on. Will There Be Financial? BTC still sitting at 91.038. Look at this range, by the way, that we were talking about the other day. This big orange candles, this big orange box. But yeah, definitely descending. So look how, we were looking at the 20-day EMA yesterday as an uptrend. Look at it for a downtrend. Look at this. So right now we need this to break the 20-day EMA. If we break the 20-day EMA, we might be in for a little bit of an upside move. Let's I'll tell you what, something. Let's bring up the order book actually, because that might tell us what to look for, or whether we're gonna maybe see a little bit more upside moves. Here we go. So yeah, look at this. So we need to break. What are we saying here? 91.1 essentially. So we need to kind of push a little bit higher. 80 BTC. If we can break like 91.2, a little bit of volume support, we could easily be back at like 92k without even messing around, which is essentially why I closed out that short, because I was like, man, this liquidity is terrible. Past some of these key ranges. I think my entry point was 91.7. I think I sold at like 90,500 or something. I can't remember what it was. But, break above 91,200 could rally us quite quickly back up to 92.5, in my opinion. What it means is that the person that posted about Will It Be Financial is not verified. It's Watch a Guru. Oh, sorry. People not verifying by email in the Discord. Well, you don't need to verify by email. You don't need to. You just literally like type it. I mean, some people have done it, by the way. And we did go through a period of time in the Discord where we had loads of bots in there and loads of absolute choppers. So I'm like less bothered about it. I just don't understand why people don't do it. I mean, what are we at right now in the Discord? Like 205 people. That's pretty cool. It's just a bit quiet in there. Like people are way not as chatty as they should be. So I was meant to say, I think it's just people being recognized as bots and not being allowed to verify. No, because it's just a simple process. What it means is they're just not typing. So I think there probably are bots, in my opinion. Just in my opinion. So yeah, I'm less bothered about it. You know, we'll see. But yeah, see, rejected again here on the 20-day EMA. So we're struggling. We are struggling. But yeah, if you're interested in getting to Discord, by the way, it's free. Totally free against the Discord. Definitely check that out. But yeah, like I said, we've got a token sniffer bot going in there, which means you just type a contract address in, boom, it's going to analyze that coin for you, which is going to be pretty exciting. So that would be bullish. That would be bullish. Yeah. Good news. Good. When money printing go, hopefully soon. I mean, it's not going to be anytime soon, is it? The Federal Reserve, I mean, they are increasing their balance sheet. We discussed this yesterday. The Fed balance sheet did tick up a little bit, but nothing super crazy. The trouble you've got is nothing I think is going to happen really until Friday. Just my view. We talked about this yesterday. The fact that you've got that Trump tariff decision, essentially, is it going to unwind loads of stuff in the tariffs? I personally don't think they will revise it, but who am I? Do you know what I mean? They could, I guess. So we'll wait and see. And then you've also got loads of data coming in as well, unemployment, non-farm. So obviously the ADP jobs report that we got is a precursor to the actual US unemployment data that we're going to get. So expectations will be actually that ticks up a little bit, which would be good news. So we'll see. And we get obviously the consumer sentiment from Michigan on Friday as well. So quite a bit on Friday coming in. But yeah, I think the big thing is that rate cuts. Are we going to see rate cuts? Sorry, are we going to see the tariff stuff unwind? We know we talked about ISM, and I think this is why Trump's doing what he's doing in terms of some of this kind of stuff around housing, some of this stuff around the military, and there's stuff today I think passed about Congress not what's the word I was thinking of? Not trading and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. So we're in 2026 and Brad's 5 trillion call landed on its face like Jake Claver. I mean, that's true as well. I mean, the whole market didn't quite deliver, but if you believe in an ISM delayed cycle, then, hopefully we see a bit more this year, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know, to be honest. He's not messaged me again. I mean, I'm down for it. The only thing with it takes me way later into the night thing. But yeah, Deborah's gonna says, hello, how are you doing? And New Year. Yeah, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to you as well. What point do we stop saying Happy New Year, by the way? Another couple of days? Maybe. Okay. So where are we sitting right now? BTC 91,067. Lots of liquidity here. So we're looking for a break above 91,200. Probably just around the 20-day EMA. So if we get that break above, that would be good news. The rest of the market, by the way, took a big old hit today. Monad down 10, HBAR, AVAX down. I mean, look at Jasmine now 11%. So a big altcoin sell-off here, but, down about 3.8. So under $1 billion. Wow. Sorry, under $1 trillion. Wow. Think about that. Is it me? I was watching a green candle trying to break on the 20-day EMA. Yeah, on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, we're on the 15-minute chart here. So, we're pretty low down in terms of time frames, but I think while you've got all this like geopolitical stuff, it's going to be pretty challenging to break back above. Just my opinion. I think, I think it's a pretty kind of risk off. People are a bit like, let's see what happens. But that Morgan Stanley stuff might be pretty interesting. And again, if you are in a world where you believe all that, well, it was kind of bad news and Morgan Stanley have now been buying. It'd be interesting to see their balance sheet. I don't think we can see it though, because that would, let's see. Morgan. Oops. Morgan Stanley. Balance sheet. I don't know if we can get that actually. Can we get that? Morgan Stanley MS balance sheet. I don't think it'll tell us if it'd be interesting to see if it actually had any sort of crypto on there, wouldn't it? If you think about it. Total assets is 1.21. Oh, that's 2024. I don't want to see that. Oh, come on, bro. They ain't got like a better statement than that one. I'm not concerned, my opinion. Everything's actually just finding a new high level. If we have finding it, well, you're probably true. Even though tomorrow will be green. Zach, what's going on, buddy? Gianluca. What if we made a tick bot? I'm down for that, bro. I'm down for it. MS withdrew to get cheaper XRP. Yeah, I saw that. And you also had, I think, is it Wisdom Tree or something has removed their XRP filing, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah, earnings release, financial statement. Yeah, so we don't have balance sheet, which is kind of annoying. I'd be kind of interested to see what their balance sheet is. Whether they actually have any Bitcoin on it or not. It doesn't look like it at this moment in time, but you never know, do you? I'm not worried. At least crypto bounces back on like cash. I mean, that's true as well. That is true. I mean, cash only ever going to down. Only ever going to get it down. Blah, 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 blah. Only ever going to go down. So, yeah, you got to be mindful of that. Oh, okay. What's this here? Where's this from? Where is this from? Oh, 2025. Oh, here we go. Look. So, Morgan Stanley balance sheet. I'm sorry, that is really bright, actually. But I don't think I can turn it down. Maybe I have to log in to do something. Anyway, okay. Can I turn this down? No. Right. Cash and equivalents. Oh, you can't see it. 103. Goodwill. Investments in debt equity. Long-term debt. Common stock. Additional paid-in capital. Man, they paid $30 billion out to additional paid-in capital. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Net cash. So cash growth. Changing net cash debt position compared to previous time. Negative 30%. Yeah, see, they're going down. Like, it's going down. Their net cash debt. It's going down. They should be super crazy to like get in the market right now. But yeah, I thought maybe we could see if they actually had any Bitcoin, because that would tell us they've already seeded their ETF, which means they're already way in the markets. Oh no, Morgan Stanley come in, but doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it just in a minute, but hey, it is what it is. I still think it's pretty bullish, by the way. As do you guys. 79% of you think, yes, Morgan Stanley getting into the market is good news. Yeah, I would be 100% inclined to agree with you. So, yeah. That'd be good news if you ask me. Man, something's just gone super weird on my computer right now. Oh, that's why. I need to close that. Right, pre-markets we don't need. We once again rejected on the 20-day EMA. We've got to break this line, bros. If we want to see the markets move up, we need to break the 20-day EMA. It's not happening right now for whatever reason. We need some whales to come in, buy an absolute ton of BTC, and they're not. Look, 100 Bitcoin now to break 91,200. So, you know, definitely not quite where we'd like to be. Certainly not in a world where I'd want to see this market like popping off right now. But anyway, don't forget, if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate you. It does help us out. It's been super quiet tonight, by the way. Super quiet. TikTok's felt quiet tonight. We're a little bit quiet here on YouTube as well. I don't know what's happening. Maybe people are just getting super sick of my content, which is fine. I mean, I hope not, because that would be good news for the longevity of my life on TikTok and YouTube. But hey, you know, it's what it is. Who or what getting into crypto would make it bearish? Well, any kind of Trump announcement that's going to derail the economy would be one. Any announcement of a government shutdown is probably not going to be good news. Any sanctions, tariffs, all that kind of stuff. Right now, you just got like, it's just kind of normal selling, isn't it? You look at the volume, like volume is down here. This is on the 15, but go to the 12 hour, like volume's pretty flat. In the grand scheme of things. I mean, we've seen a bit of a push down, but actually, you know, we are what we are. I mean, maybe, do you think maybe we could set a trade up from here, by the way? Maybe we go long from 90,785 and see what we get to. Tomato Piece, any good news? I mean, Don't know how the market's looking on board of them. Not buying for a few weeks anyway. Well, I mean, we were saying yesterday, weren't we? You know, maybe just kind of wait out and see what happens. Like, don't get too like FOMO'd into the market. You know, always opportunity out there. Like I said before, like the market's super volatile right now. Like you are, in my opinion, you are risking way more than the reward is. If you can take little trades, cool. You know, that would be where I think people should be right now. Again, if you know what you're doing, don't just do it if you've got no idea what you're doing when you trade, because you can lose everything, right? You can lose everything. But yeah, can I sign in if I just got this? Just go, oh, come on, bro. Is it going to let me do it? It's going to be like, hey, you need to verify. And I can't verify because it's on my phone. And my phone currently is displaying TikTok, I think. Unless it's going to let me in. Ah, bro. So annoying. Green candle junkies can handle the adrenaline dump. Yeah, well, exactly, RPM. Yeah, that's the problem, innit? Everyone gets like super mega hyped when the markets are pumping, and then when it dumps, which, by the way, it's still a relatively aggressive dump, but we did kind of see this move previously. We just don't want to see it kind of go back. Buying for last year, my portfolio is down massive. Just keep throwing it. Yeah, Johnny, DCAing. I'm not saying what you do, but I mean, I haven't bought anything actually. To be honest, I haven't bought anything. All I've done is DCA some opportunities. Is trade opportunities on futures. And again, even that's with relatively low margin. Like I said, if you're in the Discord or you're in the premium Discord, you would see that. Just low margin. I think it was like 560 or something. I think was the kind of was the trade I put on. So, you know, nothing at all crazy in fairness. Nothing at all crazy in fairness. So Good. Pre-market. We looked at pre-markets, didn't we? Looked at pre-markets. They look pretty spicy for tomorrow. We'll see whether Asia decides to buy or not. They are still sulking XRP and go to that. I mean, that's imagine. Can you imagine? Right, good. All right, well, over to you guys. You got any questions, any thoughts, any opinions? Let me know. Drop them in the account. Drop them in the account. It says I've read someone's account. Drop them in the account. Let's chat. We're at 10 o'clock right now. I have no idea where this stream, again, has absolutely flown by. Like, where does this stream go sometimes? It is wild, people. Wild, if you ask me. Fat Solid says, great content, great cat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I haven't bought any crypto for 2 years, only swapped some XLM for SHX. Oh, we haven't looked at any DeFi players, actually. What is SHX at right now? And don't upset me, cheese. I don't know. It's probably at like a $3 billion market cap or something like that. Who's going to be the Man U manager? I have no idea, mate. I have no idea. Interestingly, though, I work near there. Sometimes, not all the time, but I do go somewhere there. But I didn't even know they'd sacked the last guy. I'm definitely not up to speed on all that kind of stuff. Fletcher, Carrick, Xavier, Southgate, Glasnow. I mean, Southgate might be interesting. I mean, I'm definitely not the person to ask about that, Curtis. I'm definitely not the person to ask about that. Like number 50, been here the whole time. What's going on, Viva La Bacon? Good to see you, man. Yeah, don't forget, hit the like button. It does help out the channel, by the way. It does help out us, gets us out there. It's always bullish. Also, just chatting in the chat helps out as well. So the chat rate, just FYI, by the way, is currently 6. So it just means you guys aren't very chatty. So you should be chatty. You should be asking some questions. You should be like, hey, bro, what the hell? My toilet is a 5-gallon bucket outside. My roof leaks in the sleeve. If I survive on PB and J sandwiches, but I'm still stuck in Mofo XRP. Let's get it, Ricky. What's going on, buddy? Tim says, answer mine if you know. What is the best region to live in for crypto purposes, availability, etc.? Portugal or Belarus? That's my guess. Why? 0% tax. You don't have to pay a lot to become a citizen of that country. They have availability. They're in the EU, so a lot of... Well, Belarus, actually. Is Belarus in the EU? I think it is. They have access to a number of exchanges, so yeah. Or Dubai is probably the other one, isn't it, to be honest? But that's what I would say. Dubai feels quite far away. Portugal will be all right, though. Does that help? I don't know if that's true. Well, I know Portugal's 0%, as I know Belarus is 0% as well. Too, the Isle of Man is the best for us. Yeah, Jersey, I think, works as well. Matt says, praying for cheap Suey. Zach, God's Own County. God's Own County, but I work in Manchester. But I'm in God's Own County. I'm in the place where God built after the world. Chats need to green up soon. Fairground, yeah, let's hope so. Always driving car chat when I do have a night. Hey, it's all good, Viva. We appreciate you being here for sure. We appreciate you. Fat Sonic says Sui's still kind of cheap on spot. Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about Sui 180, I mean, you know, down here, we said, didn't we, this lower line, I mean, maybe if it pulls all the way back, it might go here, but you're talking a pretty bearish return down here if you see that. I mean, you'd almost be in a world, 36% decline from the lows. You know, we were all chatting. Fairground bought some in down here somewhere, some kind of crazy buy down here. I bought it at 1.8 and rode it to 5 from 24. Yeah, I mean, I bought 172, I think, sold at 2 something, and then, and yeah, I haven't got back into it in fairness. Like I said, I haven't bought a lot. I haven't really done anything. Traded a little bit. Again, that's about as good as I get just on the short term. Man, Fairground, why can't I just can't pick your comments. No filtered comments. Well, I'm pretty sure I can see a filtered Fairground comment. So apologies, Fairground, but I can't bring that. What does it say? Manchester ain't God's Own County, Cornwall is. Yeah, but I don't live in Manchester. I ain't working there. Which countries use BTC for currency? El Salvador, Argentina, Bhutan, maybe? It's not a pop quiz question, just by the way. Ask me anything you want, but pop quiz. Can you imagine? Let's have a look. What countries use BTC as currency? Yeah, El Salvador, Central African Republic, and most of the countries Bitcoin, including Tenga, many nations. Yeah, 2 by the looks of it. Now, countries which allow crypto's legal tender are literally, yeah, El Salvador and the Central African Republic. There you go. Predicting next would be Paraguay, Venezuela. I mean, that would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? United States, Russia, Zimbabwe. Could be wild. Could be wild. 2 weeks ago, yeah, okay. Who had a hit with gold? Spandau Ballet. Come on, Fairground. Come on. What will be this year's Christmas number 1 2-bit? Well, actually, it's a great question. It's going to be I Survived the Bear Market by 2-bit Crypto. We're going to go for number 1 here. This channel is going to be at like 150,000 subscribers. I'm going to be full-time crypto content. I'm going to do I'm going to release a single for charity. Let's do it. If you had to choose between what disappears forever, Yorkshire tea or Yorkshire puddings, what goes, what stays? Tea stays, puddings go. I mean, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, Wisdom Tree did drop their XRP ETF. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they don't come back. I think they're just kind of going, let's just see what happens. Don't forget, you've got massive AUM, massive flows into XRP ETFs. Like, they're crazy right now. I mean, I don't know what it's been today. Let's take a look. I think they definitely come back. My opinion. So 34 million. So down a little bit, which, you know, is aligned to selling and market's cooling off. But I don't think anyone sold anything over here. So yeah, pretty quiet. But Puds go, Yorkshire tea is the only one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Who sung Silver Dream Machine? Man, I have no idea. I actually don't know. What I do know is YouTube just saw me cheating. Silver Dream Machine. I don't know. I'm looking now. I did know the Spandau Ballet one, by the way. Silver Dream Machine. David Essex. I don't even know who that is. Fairground. I have no idea who that is. Zach Hudson got it. Shout out to Zach Hudson for getting it. Bro, we're way off. We're way off tangent right now. We need to come back onto tangent. We need to get back into talking about the markets. Right, where's BTC? Man, BTC is dumping right now. Down 3% on the day. Down to the 20-day EMA. So look, we said this might be the test. We actually said, maybe, I feel like I should log into Bitunix and open a long trade just to see what we do. We kind of said this. Potential bounce off this line on the daily. That's what we're looking for. Oh, sorry, on the 12-hour. Yeah, we're at the 20 EMA here on the 12-hour. So we could get a bounce. We might not. I've got some Cornish tea for a Christmas present. Nice. Nice, bro. Let me close that. Close that. Right. Trivia is better than the stupid crypto market. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, this will be an interesting bounce if we get this on the 12 hour. So when does this tick over? An hour and 53. I mean, there's not a lot here on the lower time frame. If we go to the 15 minute, we're still looking for that break. So again, rejected here on the 20. And actually, what you can argue here is we go all the way back to, you know, to Tuesday. And actually, we lost the 20 here. We haven't got back over it right now. So here in the 15 minute, break on the 20 is probably what we're looking for. Look, this would have been a nice little trade, by the way. It looks like we just wicked up from that 90,790 that I said. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe we push a little bit higher. Again, momentum, though, understand this. When you're looking at these, the macro is still downtrending, by the way. Still bad news. But, yeah, could have been an interesting little move from that particular low point. Would have been a good trade, actually. Right now, 90,000, you know, short little scalperino. Your stop loss is my entry. Oh, dear me. We will have to send 2-bit a decipher bearable guy riddles next stream. Yeah, well, I don't even know what that means, but yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. You can always drink... what? Well, yeah, you can. You can always drink... you can always make different Yorkshire puddings. It just depends. I mean, my missus' mum tries to make, you know, southern puddings, and they're terrible. Terrible. But... anyway, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, this would have been a nice... I mean, again, it's not the biggest trade in the world. You'd want to see this push back up. But right now, I mean, I don't know what the catalyst is. I don't know what the catalyst is. You know, lots of kind of macro stuff that's not great. But yeah. Had some copy Luwak coffee for experts and the one where the cats poo. What? I mean, what? After a long and different negotiations, I've determined that for the good of our country, especially in the last very troubled, our military budget of 27 should not be $1 trillion, but rather $1.5 trillion. Man, Trump's going big on the military. I think this is why markets are a little bit on ease right now. Like, Trump's so, like, big on the military right now. Like, people are a bit like, oh, God. Oh, this is interesting, actually. Oh, look at this. I did not see this. I mean, there's a surprise. No tax on American car loans. Man, he really wants to push manufacturing, doesn't he? Really wants to push manufacturing. So look at this. For new US assembled vehicles purchased in 25 to 28, eligible taxpayers can deduct up to $10,000 a year from an auto loan interest, whether they itemize or take the standard deduction. Treasury and the IRS are issuing clear rules so taxpayers know exactly what the deduction was. Man, he really is. So think about this, right? Just dead quick. Think about it. So since ISM on manufacturing came in negative, consistent with a 10-month decline, tariffs being the biggest one, man, he is panicking about Friday. Like, he is really panicking about Friday. Services, here we go. That's what I want to see. So remember, we brought this up. So again, ISM now, I mean, we did get a little bit of uptick, but generally speaking, there's a big decline here through 2025. And came in bearish, came in at 47.9, decline of 0.3, right? Weren't expecting a lot, 0.3. He's then announced the fact that there's going to be no tax on American car loan interest. That's wild. He's also then sanctioned the seizing of 2 oil tankers, got into Venezuela, or certainly got 50 million barrels of oil from Venezuela. I mean, there's no way that the world of finance doesn't get a banking license. Like, wow. And if you remember... we actually looked at auto sales. We looked at new car auto sales and we said they're down. Look at Tesla, for example. They were 25,000 cars short. That's wild. Man, we kind of predicted this market. Holy shit, we're like on the dial. We know what's cooking, everybody. No tax on taxes. I mean, that'd be bullish. That'd be bullish. Didn't find Yorkshire puddings all appealing. Gotta have them. Griff, you've never had good Yorkshire puddings then, bro. Trust me. If you think Yorkshire puddings are bad, you've never had a good Yorkshire pudding. That's all I'm saying, all right? That's all I'm saying. Good. Right. Anyway, it is 10 past the hour for me. We have been live now for an hour and 20 minutes. So, yeah, shout out to everybody, by the way. We can stick around for a bit longer, by the way. I'm cool with sticking around for a bit longer. I would normally, I normally go to another TikTok live, but Vern hasn't even jumped in the stream tonight, so I'm not sure what he's doing. We said last week we were going to do it, but yeah, I don't know where he is. Don't know where he is. I know he's been like doing a load of stuff at work and shit like that, so maybe he's got tied up, but we can stick around for a little bit longer. If you guys are up for it, I'm up for it. I'm Bessie's Yorkshire puddings for the win. Come on, Zach. That's just not a thing. Like, you got to make your own. I'm curious. Let's keep an eye on the markets right now. I'm bullish for that. How tariff decision going to affect crypto? I mean, it would affect the broader market. Therefore, I think if they go back on the tariffs, I mean, it doesn't mean they're going to unwind tariffs. There's loads of other rules that they can use. But yeah, markets would definitely be bearish on that day for sure. You would definitely see selling in the market. I mean, you might next see buy. Well, would you see buying? I don't think so. Because it's essentially, because what you'd have then, I think, is companies would leave the US. And don't forget, the AI thing is probably the big reason that the stock market's actually been held up right now. So, I mean, we didn't look at the stock market. What have you got? You've got where is it? Here, look. So, the S&P was actually down 0.3, which is next to nothing. Did actually wick down from the highs of 6.9. Still hasn't broke 7,000, which is interesting, isn't it? But yeah, so the S&P down. The NASDAQ was down very marginally. The dollar up a little bit. So yeah. So I think you would see some selling. I don't think it would be the craziest thing in the world, but yeah. So I'm off. Been a long day. No worries, Craig. Thanks as always, man. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I mean, I'll stick around for like another 10 minutes or so, maybe, and then we'll get off. I want to see kind of Bitcoin try and rally back above this 20-day EMA. I think this will be an interesting retest. If we get it, great. If we don't, then blah. It is what it is. It is what it is. Zach, mate, honestly, I make a great turn in the hole. Not even lying to you, bro. Make a great turn in the hole. Good. All right. Alrighty. So, what else have we got coming up? ISM. Do we need ISM? Calendar. Markets. Oh, yeah, look, there's loads of stuff on here, actually. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Crypto. Ooh, I didn't even look at this. I've never even looked at this before. Never even looked at it. Let's take a look at the news. Anything exciting going on right now? The Ibovespa drops amid risk off markets. No, don't that. TSX gives back record highs. Okay, no one cares. US stocks closed mixed on Wednesday. Interesting. US stocks were mixed on Wednesday as investors weighed uneven economic data against expectations for eventual Federal Reserve easing. The S&P easing 0.2, Dow sliding 0.8. Wow, that's actually pretty big in fairness. JOLTS showed a sharp decline in job openings, pointed to a cooling labor market demand. Oh no. ADP reported modest rebound in private hiring, which we said, didn't we? We talked about that at the start. Yeah. Crypto updates 4 hours ago. Yeah, not a lot here, look. Not a lot. European stock they had a slight easing, 0.1, I think it was. Will the Supreme Court decision come after the US stock market closes for the weekend? I mean, it normally does, doesn't it? I mean, the only thing is, it's how much. The only thing is Trump would post about it, but I don't know if it's on. Is it on the calendar? Is it on the calendar for Friday? Friday. Man, this is like the global. Oh my god, this has got Canada. Look, unemployment rate in Canada. Wow, why have we got the whole globe on it? Let's. Oh, I just closed something I didn't mean to close, bro. Come on, what? Let's see if we can find out what time the ruling is. What? I don't know if it is. I don't know if anyone does. What time is the tariff ruling on Friday? Well, the Supreme Court decision. Oh, you asked that, didn't you? So let's see. Okay, US Supreme Court typically issues opinions at about 10 a.m. Eastern time on scheduled opinion days. That including the time of the release if ready. Yeah, so expectation is 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to get that announcement. So what's 10 a.m. Eastern? Anyone? Is 3 p.m. UK time. So yeah, that's kind of what we're expecting for that. The court has listed Friday as an opinion day, which means decisions may be handed down then, but they do not announce exact times or which case will be included at the time. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that Friday, 10 a.m., 3 p.m. UK time is probably what we need to keep an eye out for. Probably what we need to keep an eye out for. Just my opinion. Going to be a fun day. Yeah, it's going to be pretty wild, in fairness. It's going to be pretty wild. And it might be nothing like their opinion. Again, it's an opinion day. So they may go, well, we think tariffs are not fair. And they, doesn't mean they're going to... it doesn't mean that it will enact there and then. Markets will just... What we've got to understand is markets are super, fragile right now. One day they risk on, one day they risk off, one day they risk on, one day they risk off, blah, 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 blah. You're like, oh, my God. Come on, people. Come on. I hope they stick with it, but they are judges. And the only problem you've got a little bit is it's not that popular. So if you look at, let's look at US view on tariffs. By oh my god, what is going on here? What am I doing? I can't type. By percentage. Let's see. When was that posted? It was posted a while back. Everything's just about when it is, but US President tariffs argue the movement of what tariffs online, US Supreme Court decision tariffs. Yeah, I don't think it's a big view. They're not popular with the US people. Extend over 10% today. Yeah, it's absolutely skyrocketing right now. Trump will seize the oil tanker in the Supreme Court. Can you imagine? I mean, if you can get the oil into, you get the oil in quick, then it's probably going to be fine. But yeah, there's not a lot of optimism specifically. I don't know when this is from. Let's take a look at this though. I don't know when this poll is from as an example. Oh my god, what is going on here? I can't type anything. Yeah, it's CNBC news article. So trade and tariffs. Wrong card engine. 38% of people. This must be. I think the thing I saw was 70-30. I think 70% of people do not agree with tariffs. They don't think it's good. Yeah, that's the point. They don't think they're good. So, you know, I think it depends. Yeah, it depends. I don't think they go behind, but I don't think they reverse it. But you never know. I mean, crazier things have happened, I guess. Tim says bullish AF. Yeah, I mean, that's true. You guys have to remember what life was like before. Yeah, well, that's true as well. I will be lasting the thing. And I mean, they're already delaying them out there right now, but yeah, here you go. Look, so widespread disapproval. Roughly 60 to 65% of Americans disapprove of the current tariff policies. Nearly 9 out of 10 Americans, 89% expect tariffs to lead to higher domestic prices, with 70% believing they will drive up inflation. And 55% majority of citizens report that tariffs have already negatively affected their family's financial situation as of late 2025. Approximately 62% of consumers say they are actively attempting to save money or pull back on discretionary spending due to tariff-driven price increases. And we saw that on ISM, didn't we? We literally saw that in the ISM data because it showed us that there was an uptick in the cost of getting it. So this here, the ISM manufacturing supplier deliveries was the one that ticked up from that November low. So, you know, this is kind of telling us that, well, you know, we're not getting in. And then more specifically, you can see their breakdown of exactly where it is. Manufacturing inventories, no surprise, people having to pay more. It's literally there, look, in the data. It's in the freaking data right now. So, yeah. So, see you later, Fairground. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Casey, as always, good job, man, moderating that chat. You're a legend. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, again, you have to, what should have happened, and again, by the way, I'm not an economist, by the way, but I think with the whole tariff situation, it's like one and done, isn't it? Get everyone on tariffs, get everyone to the table, and then you agree good trading patterns. The problem is that so many people are like, hold on a minute, we're gonna push back on this. We're not taking this crap. And this has sort of led us to sort of where we are right now. But, you know, look, it is what it is. And, yeah, hopefully it all kind of plays out. We'll see. Do you know what I mean? We'll see. We will see. Okay, good. Right, everybody. I am going to call it there. What time are we on? 20 past 10. We've been live for an hour and 30 minutes. If you haven't already, by the way, do join the Discord. Hopefully, longer term ambition, by the way, is we'll start doing live streams in the Discord. If and when this year, my ambition, obviously, to go way more into crypto than I am into my normal job, then we'll start to do stuff in the Discord. So grab yourself a free link to the Discord. It's in the description and all of that kind of stuff. Fat Sonic, by the way, yeah, I'm bullish on all of it. And I think it'll play out to be a pretty good news story, hopefully. So, as always, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with all the latest and greatest. Keep your eyes on the prize. Bitcoin trying to rally, but it's a damp squid, unfortunately, today. So, anyway, we'll see how it gets out. As always, take care. Have a great day. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.